everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at one of the most iconic aircraft ever. While there are planes that are faster, prettier, and perhaps deadlier, this aircraft is one of the most iconic aircraft of all times, in my liking at least. We are of course talking about the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. Now, the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress is an American four-engined heavy bomber aircraft developed in the 1930s for the United States Army Air Corps. At the time, it was a fast and high-flying bomber, and although it did see some limited service in the Pacific, it was mainly used in the European Air War. And the B-17, now this is interesting, the B-17 dropped more bombs than any other bomber during World War II. It is the third most produced bomber of all time, only trailing the B-24 Liberator and the German multi-role twin-engine Junkers Ju-88. The B-17, although primarily used as a bomber, it was also employed as a transport, anti-submarine aircraft, drone controller, and also a search and rescue aircraft. B-17 first flew in July of 1935 and was introduced in April of 1938. It was produced between 1936 and 1945. Total numbers built, some 12,730 aircraft. Mention the fact that the B-17 dropped more bombs than any other aircraft in World War II. Well, of the roughly 1.5 million tons of bombs dropped on Nazi Germany and also the occupied territories by Allied aircraft, that is, over 640,000 tons, equivalent to 42.6%, were dropped from P-17s. Sadly, today, of the 12,700 somewhat built at the start of 2024, as far as I know, only 6 aircraft remain in flying condition. About somewhere around 50 are in storage or are on static display, which is, well, if you want to have a look at them, you better hurry up. Here we see a Focke-Wulf 190 Delta having a real go at my B-17, and although the B-17 could take a lot of punishment, it really couldn't sustain the damage from the Focke-Wulf. Although the B-17 could take some horrendous punishment and still keep flying, there is a limit to everything, and here in Warthunder I really show you that there is just so much the frame can take. Gonna lose the stabilizer and part of the wing, and one engine is on fire, and oh, there goes off the wing. And we're back on the same map, and I guess one thing you can see here is one alone B-17, although bristled with machine guns, isn't really a match for any fighter. This is the underside of the aircraft. As you can see, there's 50 cal waist gunners, 50 cal tail gun, there's a machine gun on top, and there's in the front. There's placeholder cockpit, and there we see our gunner. As I said, in real life the B-17 would never enter a combat zone alone. It would do it in mass, and the thinking was that several B-17s together flying in a tight box formation would give each other mutual cover with its machine guns, and thus making it hard for enemy fighters to get close. And I think in theory that seems to be a good thinking, but in real life many B-17 crews pay the price while doing missions over Germany and occupied Europe without sufficient air cover from escorting fighters. There is simply no way of stopping a dedicated fighter force from getting to and destroying bombers. it needs fighter cover. And in the start of the air war over Europe, fighter cover was limited, and Americans had a doctrine that emphasized daylight bombing, and the casualties were high, really high, until, well, I guess really until the P-47s and P-51 Mustangs had the legs to really escort their fighters to the target and back. Let's go through some general characteristics of the aircraft. It had a crew of 10 people: pilot, co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, nose gunner, same person, flight engineer, top turret gunner, radio operator, waist gunners, bow turret gunner, and a tail gunner. It had a length of 74.4 feet. Here we see us losing a couple of those feet, although we did drop the bomb. That is 22.66 meters in length, a wingspan of 103.9 feet, that is 31.62 meters, a height of 19.1 feet, that is 5.82 meters, an empty weight of 36,135 pounds, or some 16,391 kilos, max takeoff weight of 65,500 pounds, or some 29,700 kilos. Power plant, well, 4 times Wright R1820-97 Cyclone turbo supercharged radial engines, each on 1,200 horsepower or 895 kilowatts, each driving a 3-bladed Hamilton standard constant speed propeller, giving it a maximum speed of 287 miles per hour, or some 462 kilometers an hour, or 249 knots. Although cruising speed would have been around 182 miles an hour, or 293 kph, or 158 knots. Range 2,000 miles, or 3,219 kilometers, or 1,738 nautical miles, with 6,000 pounds of payload, or 2,700 kilos. Service ceiling 35,600 feet, that is 10,850 meters. Now the armament, and here's where it gets a bit interesting. Although it varied somewhat over the versions of the B-17, this is the G model. It had 13 times 50 cal, or 12.7 millimeter M2 Browning machine guns in 9 positions, 2 in the Bendix chin turret, 2 in the nose, 2 staggered waist guns, 2 in upper spray turret, 2 in the bow turret, and 2 in the tail. Bombs, yeah, it could carry bombs, and a lot of it. For short range missions, internal load only, some 8,000 pounds, or 3,600 kilos. For long range missions, it could carry some 4,500 pounds, or 2,000 kilos. And that, with long range missions, we're talking 800 miles one way, so 1,600 miles, that is. So here in Warthunder you have the B-17 in the American tech tree. Of course, here we are in the Arctic map, and we are at Cons. It's in lovely contrails. Ahead of us there is a Messerschmitt 264, and also we have 2 other B-17s, although not close enough to give us some fire cover. There are, however, lots of fighters in the area, friendly fighters, which helps. Here we are about to drop 2,000 pound bombs. Do I like it? Well, it's... I really don't like playing bombers in Warthunder, because, I mean, you spawn at altitude, which is good. Then you drop your bombs, and then you have pretty much two choices: either to climb and try to stay out of the way, or head back, reload, and really hope that maybe you could get to do another run, which is unlikely. So I don't know. I guess the B17 is a fairly good bomber. It takes a lot of punishment, could carry a lot of bombs. I think it's a bit clumsy, however, and I really prefer the Lancaster or even the Messerschmitt 264. Sorry. But I guess it's a decent bomber if you like to play bomber, and it's a historical, very very lovely aircraft, and the model is great. Here we are going on a death spiral, more or less. Try to get back to base. We're missing part of the engines and part of the wings. Well, at least we destroyed the base, and we're losing oil from 2 engines, and the Spitfire is going to be the end of us. Well, as I said, if you like bombers, I guess the B17 is the way to go. Otherwise, just skip it. Really, I think they need to do some rework on the bomber mechanics in Warthunder, but hey, that's just my opinion. I really hope you like this clip about the B17 and its awesomeness in real life, at least. Do like, comment, hit the subscription button and the notification button, so you get a notification of every time we do a new video, which is around once a week. Whoa, here we go. This airframe is toast, so I think we need to bail. However, if you like this video, don't be afraid to share it. It would mean a lot to get more people to watch it. There we go. Oh, extreme freaking overload. In this case, the crew would have been all messed up inside. Yeah, and above 500 kilometers now, you're going to rip the wings off. And this is fairly close to it. We've officially lost control. Yeah, as I said, like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will catch you next time at the channel. Thank you so much, and have a nice day, night, evening, or whenever you're watching this. Bye bye.